Hello, I'm Erle Montaigue, and welcome to Dim-Mak death point striking. It's not a matter of knowing exactly the points to strike and then going out and saying we know Dim-Mak. There's a whole lot more involved in Dim-Mak. There's a way of becoming like a wild animal, and that's what we must do in survival. Not for tournament fighting, but if we want to survive, we must become like a wild animal, like this fellow. This fellow is a wild animal. He's not a pet. I found him on the road today, in fact. And he knows that I'm not going to hurt him. So he's not attacking me, he's not biting me, he's not trying to crush me. And believe me, I know what these fellows are like when they get their bodies around you and start crushing you. It's almost impossible to get them off. He knows what it's all about. People can't fight, but animals can survive. Except when there's speeding cars. That's why I saved this one from the road today. We must have a way of going into the animal brain, or into what's now known as the reptilian brain, the third part of our brain. And we have a way of doing that in learning our Dim-Mak. Of course, if you get a bit confused, you can always come and ask a friend, like this fellow. Good boy. So what does Dim-Mak have to do with the reptilian brain and snakes and reptiles? Why don't I just come on here and just show you bang bang how to hit this point, how to strike this point, and what effect it has, etc. Well, that's okay if you're in a controlled situation where you've done all the right things, keeping in mind that this video is essentially for law enforcement officers. So you've done the right thing, you're in a situation, you get out, you open your door of your car, stand behind the door of the car, the guy's way over there. That's fine. But there are, of course, going to come the times when you're not in that controlled situation. You're no longer in control of the situation. Someone else is. A maniac, a wild animal with a knife, perhaps. And he's not way over there this time. He's just here, 4 feet away from you. In this case, you're not in control. You have to have something else other than being in control and techniques that you've learnt in the force or from some martial arts instructor. There's an old Chinese saying which actually says, roughly translated, which means technique, you use technique, you lose. And this is true. Because this person's a wild animal. He's not a human being anymore. You have to have a way of becoming like a wild animal. So that when that person attacks you, they're not attacking a human being anymore. They're actually attacking a wild animal. They open a door and, there's this wild animal there. Go away, I don't want anything to do with you because you're wilder than him. And the way we do this is via what is called now the reptilian brain. The Chinese classics, of course, have told us this for years, to become like an animal. But what they didn't mean like to be like an eagle, to be like a snake, etc. They meant to have the mind of an eagle or a snake. And so we have this way of getting into this mode. Now science now tells us that we have 3 brains, not just the one. The creator, who